Hello and welcome to week 8 of Talking a Little Football. I'm Blake Toppmeyer, sports writer at the Herald-Whig, along with Quincy High School football coach Rick Little. Rick, sitting at week 8, as I said, coming in to this week's game 4-3. There for a while, though, I admit, at halftime last week, I didn't know if you were going to be coming into this week 4-3. You know, you were going down 14-0 at halftime against Galesburg, but had a nice rally to win that one. I mean, did you still believe at that point?
You know, I know it's easy to say this now, but I really did. I mean, it was just one of those things that I was more frustrated, I think, and I told the team this on Monday, that in my 5 years here, I probably have not been any more frustrated at halftime of a game than that one. You know, down 14 points. And that's not a knock on Galesburg. I mean, I thought they had a good game plan. I thought they did a nice job. They had some nice pieces that really took it to us the first half. I mean, they really did. And the thing that I was just frustrated by, I just didn't feel like it was an X's and O's thing. You know, we had done some things differently, but I really felt in the second half we did a few things differently. But I really felt like it was an effort. It was, and I think you could see that when the wheels fell off with Galesburg, they really fell off. But it was based off of the amount of effort and the energy that our players brought in the second half. And you know, everybody's been really nice to me and said, "Gosh, coach, it's senior night. That's why." And, you know, I'm just not an excuse grabber. I don't believe that, because I mean, Galesburg had to sit through the same thing, and you know, we obviously embrace our seniors and want to give them that senior night that they deserve. And it was different. There's no doubt about it. But I just don't feel like that's a good enough excuse. I think that, you know, I think we talked about it all week long. We talked about, you know, what a trap game is. And we fell into the trap. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's no question about it. And we talked about it all week long. I think that we felt like, hey, this is a 1-5 team. We can give, we can go out there and give an effort. But if it's not our best, it's still going to be good enough. And you know, I think for the first 2 quarters, you saw that clearly that was the wrong approach to take.
Right. As a coach, when, like you said, you feel like your team's not giving the greatest effort, at halftime, what do? Do you yell? Do you give them a pick-me-up? I mean, what approach do you need to take as a coach when you go into the locker room at halftime in a situation like that?
Well, there's 2 approaches. The first one is yell, and you got to get in the butts a little bit and just say, hey, bottom line, guys, you know what? I mean, you know, there's oftentimes I think that, you know, I won't say that, you know, and you guys do a nice job of covering us, and there's times that, you know, maybe we buy into it, the hype, you know, we're this, we're that, you know, and I think that, you know, we always have a saying that the truth is on the field. It doesn't matter what I say or what you say, the truth is determined through 48 minutes on the field of play. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you walk off the field, that's what the truth was, you know, that you were better than them or they were better than you or whatever. And you know, I felt that the truth was still to be revealed on the field, but just talk to those guys about this is what's going to happen. We're going to shut them out 3 and out. We're going to go score. We talked about getting the turnover. Didn't necessarily have to come through an interception, and we were going to go score, and we were going to cut this deficit in half as quick as we could. And that only works if those things happen. But the defense came out and shut them out 3 and out. We got a touchdown 3 plays later, and then the interception 3 plays later, and then the score, you know, right after that. So it did happen quickly, and I think that helped us. I think if Galesburg would have been able to take 6 or 8 minutes off the clock in the third quarter without us, you know, scoring, I think you really would have been in a bit of a situation. But you know, credit to our guys for coming out in that second half. Like I said, they drive me nuts, and you know, at times, because I think that through the season we've only put 4 quarters together one time in a game, and you know, we still stand at 4-3 with a chance to make the playoffs. But if you know, we've talked about it already. I mean, we don't, you know, you can't do that and survive, you know, too awful long. So the approach has got to be much different going into this week with Rocky, and I feel it will be.
You came out in the second half on defense. The offense struggled so much in the first half. I mean, looking back on it, it worked great. At the time, did you think that was going to be a bit of a blessing to be able to go out defensively first? Would you have rather had the football to start the half?
Well, and I've always been a guy, I have been, that's always, you know, deferred. You know, we won the toss. I don't know if people even know that. But yeah, we won the toss, and I, you know, just looked at the numbers, and I said, I know we talk about it sometimes, some people are numbers guys, some guys aren't. But Galesburg had led a lot of points. I mean, 42, surrendered about 42 points a game coming into this week, and or last week rather. And I just felt like, hey, you know what, we've been a pretty quick start team, and I just felt like it was to our advantage to have the ball and go score early, you know, then go pin them 3 and out, play in the short field the whole first half, hopefully, and it just didn't work out that way. I mean, they held us 3 and out, we made some mistakes, and our you know, Brandon White's one of the best punters in the state, I believe, and kickers in the state, but boy, he had an off night punting the football.
Sure.
I mean, he kicks it well, but it everything that could have gone wrong, with the exception of us turning the ball over to them, it did go wrong. I mean, our special teams were not special. Offense and defensively, we struggled. And like I said, I think that you do got to tip your cap to Galesburg and their effort and stuff. You can't just say, well, we just didn't do it well. Well, they applied pressure to make sure we didn't do it well. But it was a nightmarish first half. And like I said, it was just fortunate enough that our kids, I thought they would come in and with their backs to the wall second half. And they did that, but it could have got ugly there if we weren't able to do that right away.
One of the encouraging signs, you did get that interception you mentioned in the third quarter. Ethan Rockhold gets an interception, sets you up on the 1 yard line. You now have 8 interceptions this season. That leads the Western Big Six and is just a pretty good number, period. Holding opponents to less than 50% passing. So all around, your passing defense numbers are pretty good. Is that something you expected coming into this season?
I don't know. I don't know if we looked at it, so this is what we expect from that area.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you spit those numbers out, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, D'Angelo Dean, Wes Urban are putting pressure on the quarterback. The quarterback's got to hurry and get the ball out. I mean, I think we do a pretty good job. We've had some breakdowns, some colossal breakdowns in coverage at times. But when you look at some of the guys we got in the secondary, the Jared and George Zangers, the Ethan Rockholds, the Alex Kaufmans, I mean, they do fly around the football, and so it does make some sense that they would make a play on the ball with especially the amount of pressure that Wes and D'Angelo are applying, along with the other guys as well. But from the edge standpoint,
right.
So that makes some sense, and why that would happen. And I think it's a great stat to have, and certainly as we move forward, let's hope that stat continues.
Right. Looking ahead to this Friday now, you're on the road at Rock Island. It's an interesting situation. It's week 8 for you. You're 4-3, but it's actually Rock Island's final game of the regular season. They're sitting at 4-4. So really, both teams need this for the playoffs. Another subplot, Vic Boblett's last regular season game, Rock Island's longtime head coach. What do you expect that environment to be like this Friday?
Well, it's going to be one. First of all, we have the utmost respect for Rocky. So I think when I say that then / rival. You know what I mean? I think that you got to look at that, and I don't know if maybe they deem us as one because they beat Quincy for the most part for about 26 years in a row until last season. So to me a rivalry has to be kind of two-sided. You know what I mean? And for them it really hasn't been up until last year. But our kids, I mean they certainly respect Rocky's program, and so that's why you long to beat them so badly because man, you hold them in such high regard, and so that's a compliment to them. So our kids will not have a tough time getting up for that game. Adding to it the fact that we need the playoffs, that's another huge. Or need to win for the playoffs, that's another huge motivator. Obviously, they got that same thing going. They're 4-4. Yeah. They could get in possibly with a 5-4 record, and then Coach Boblett, who has done a great job there, it's his last game. So there's going to be lots of things. What I told the kids on Monday, because this is in respect to the fact that I just like to have things even keel. We just kind of said, hey, they're going to be playing for Coach Boblett. Send him out as a winner, but let's think about who do we want to play for, and I don't mean me. I mean I got hopefully a lot of games left to coach.
Right.
But just to kind of even the advantage there, the tail of the tape. That's kind of what we're doing. I said, you close your eyes, take 15 seconds, think about who in your life you want to play for, because that's what it's about. I think I'm sure those kids play hard every week for Coach Boblett, and certainly they do.
Right.
So I don't want to overplay that, from the standpoint of our kids are going to play hard no matter if it's his first game or it's his last game, and I know their kids are going to play hard whether it's his first game or last game. So it's just one of those things that we need it, they need it, and somebody's going to have to be upset at the end.
Yeah. With Rocky, and people that follow the Big Six know this, their offense centers around Brandon Richardson. Standout sophomore running back, has had a lot of really big games. You've seen a lot of good running backs now. It's a recurring theme with you. What's the key to just slowing down Richardson?
He's great. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We've seen a lot of his film, and he's got the ability to. He's just so explosive. I mean, he hits the hole, and he's got great speed, and he's a tough runner, and he's runs through contact and does all the things that a great running back does. And he's gonna be a tough guy to slow down. And I don't know if you shut him down. I don't know if that's even possible. And I mean, it's a challenge I'm gonna throw out to the team, but I think you got to contain him, and you got to make sure that the damage that he does is minimal compared to what he's done to other teams. And if we can do that, we feel better about our chances. But there's no doubt about it. He is I mean, he is everything and more as advertised. So he's going to be a guy that's going to be a difficult challenge slowing down. But I know our kids, they get up for Rocky, and they got up for last year. Boy, they had another great running back in Nico Watson a year ago. And our kids, they really get up for those types of backs. And it's a neat thing because our kids respect the heck out of them. They really do. It's not like not one of them's going to say, oh, he's no good, or they know he's good and he's real good, and that's one of those things that they'll step up to the challenge and hopefully, like I said, work to contain him.
Should be a lot of fun. As we've talked about, two teams that really need this game. So it is on the road at Rock Island. Once again, Blue Devils coming in 4-3. Rock Island comes in 4-4. We'll be back next week to recap that game.